That's where we find PB, Peter Burns of the SEC Network and ESPN. PB, good morning, buddy.
Can I ask a request? Can I be a diva? And I want to go full Billy Lucci diva here. Can I be a diva?
I think I know where you're going with this, but does it involve the letters R-E-K?
God bless you. Listen, we're in mid-season form right now. We look like LSU's defense right now. That's right. That's all I'm asking. I love coming on you guys, talking with you guys. All I ask is a little Robert Earl Keen. That's just it. Give me a taste is what I need.
Burns, I'll tell you the issue. And there's not an issue. We can have it corrected, but we have different people. So our offices are here, and then the radio station that plays the music is somewhere else. And they have different people working the show. So write a note when Peter Burns comes in, Robert Earl Keen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You see, I feel like Kalen DeBoer right now. We're just trying to figure things out, and it's a whole new process. So now we know we can look at the film. We'll come back with Robert Earl Keen next week. So now I'm good. What's up, bud?
Well, the difference is I think our guys get the music right, 4 out of the last 5 times. Unfortunately for Kalen DeBoer, It looks like when it comes to non-conference games, not so good.
The first drive looked good, and it's crazy. And I think that ultimately what doomed them a little bit of that game is they get the ball, they go 16 plays, 75 yards. They punch FSU in the mouth, and it was almost too easy. You're thinking, this is the 2-10 team. We got this. And everybody kind of relaxed. But the problem is Gus Malzahn didn't want to relax. Tommy Castellanos went his full Diego Pavia, and they didn't relax. And they absolutely stuffed Alabama in a locker. And it was it's crazy to see, man. I swear, I spent the last hour talking to several Alabama fans and people of importance around that program, and they've never seen anything like it. And it's wild to think, but guess what? They still have an opportunity. They're still a talented roster. I'm not saying that that Bama is going to be some 6-6 team and they're going to fire DeBoer. That ain't going to happen.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. PB, let's talk about LSU because look, I thought they were going to be slightly better than they were last year. After watching that defensive performance against Clemson, I might have really underrated what that defense was going to look like. But is Clemson any good? I guess is the follow-up question because Clemson's kind of been in this situation before where they haven't looked good in their opener. Different situation last year against Georgia. So am I overrating what I saw from the LSU defense?
No, and that's something. Listen, I was on. I came on with you over at SEC Media Days, and I said the reason why I was so high on LSU was because they had a defense. I saw it in the spring. I talked to coaches on that roster all off season, and they're like, "Buddy, hang on. Like this is going to be a throwback LSU defense." It reminds me of 2011. When they had all these draft picks flying all over the field and that's the difference that LSU has that they didn't have last year. And I think part of it too, and it kind of goes back to Alabama. I think for a while when BK first got there, Brian Kelly, I think there was a thought that, hey, we're LSU, like Alabama. People are going to flock to us, and we don't have to really mess around with the transfer portal. That's almost beneath us. And I think BK, when Bryce Underwood, that 5-star quarterback that plays for Michigan now, when he flipped and went to Michigan, I think all of a sudden that kicked up a different gear of Brian Kelly. And I think all of a sudden they're like, all right, we need to dive heavy into this. Let's build an NFL type roster. And damn if they don't have one down in Baton Rouge and they look good. I think Clemson still wins the ACC. I think they're legitimately that good. I just think LSU found a way to punch them in the mouth.
Yeah, I think. And what do you think of the back and forth between Dabo and BK?
It was Dabo going, well, if you grade these on a scale of 1 to 100, we were a 58 and they were a 64. I'm like, buddy, what the hell did you watch? You got absolutely killed in the second half. And I like BK and the fact that he finally has an opportunity to not be cocky, but to be confident in his team. And he deserves that. And so I like BK. One of the reasons why LSU fans love Les Miles because he was nuts, but he was nuts for LSU. One of the reasons why LSU fans loved Ed Ogeron is because that guy, if you cut him open, you'd find crawfish and purple and gold blood. And for BK, for him to kind of not only, talk the talk, but walk the walk, that's what LSU fans have been craving. This guy is a Northerner. He's a Notre Dame guy. You don't know LSU football. And the fact that he said, all right, I'm going to keep receipts and now he's pushing back. I'm here for every part of it.
Peter, I don't follow LSU like the national media does and you do. So when I say this, I mean it with respect. I don't think Brian Kelly looked great in that Netflix documentary, but what I've seen from him in these first few weeks, like of just talking season, like the last 10 days, I feel a different energy and vibe from him. Not what I saw on that Netflix show.
Yeah, and I think you got to go back in that Netflix show and realize that was filmed during last year, where he knew they didn't have the defense, right? Like they caught him in the season where he knew they were pretty good, but they had a lot of question marks, and ultimately that's how it played out. I think now he understood, and I talked to him about 2 weeks ago, and I won't disclose everything that he said, but it was a different feeling down there. And I think this is finally the roster that he wanted. And that's why that game, when A&M comes into town in October, is going to be monstrous. I mean, absolute monstrous, especially after what Marcel did. That may be one of the more fascinating matchups the entire season, not just in the SEC, but all of college football, to see what Reed can do against this new touted LSU defense.
Peter, let's talk a little bit about Texas and how concerned should they be, considering the way the offense looked for 3/4 of that game, but also considering Ohio State's got a salty defense.
Yeah, I mean, like DEFCON 5 is basically just chill. DEFCON 1 means nuclear meltdown. It's like a DEFCON 4 for me. Like I'm not concerned at all. Defensively, they're going to be in every single game, but they're going to dominate people on that side of the ball. I think Sark was a little bit too conservative in the play calling, and Arch didn't help himself either. Like, he looked almost scared of contact, and it wasn't until, like you said, that fourth quarter where they had to be aggressive. They had to put Arch in spots where he had to make a play that he almost felt more comfortable. So I'm not too concerned about it because, defensively, they'll be in every single ball game, but Arch has to answer the bell. And I think Sark will let them loose a little bit more, and that's going to free up that offense. I still think, they're in an 8-4 team. I think there's too much talent there. 9-3 at worst. I still think they're a 10-2 squad.
Peter, let's go back to A&M. In Marcel threw the ball so well with awesome receivers, and they didn't run the ball very much. Le'Veon Moss had 3 carries, right? You kind of compared that to what you saw of Marcel versus LSU, where he threw 2 passes and ran all over LSU that evening. Just the different types of offense that A&M seems to have.
Progression. And I think Colin knew that they could do that against a UTSA team that was good on their first team, but after that, the depth is a little bit suspect. And so that was, you and I talked about it, last week, I think, is that the fact of I thought it'd be a fairly kind of figure out what you want in week 1. I feel like for A&M, you're always going to be able to run the ball. You should, especially with Moss being back there. And I feel like that was almost like in case of emergency, we'll just get back, we'll just run the ball, we'll just lean on them, we can win that way. This was more about what we saw in the bowl game, which is I don't need Marcel Reed as a runner unless you absolutely have to. Show me that you can pass, because if we can put a bunch of film on that Marcel Reed now all of a sudden is a passing threat, then that changes everything, and it's going to make the running lanes even more open. So, again, I know they should have been a little bit close. It would have nicer to be a bigger victory, but it worked well for them.
Talking to Peter Burns with the loudest stadium in the background ever. PB, let's talk Jackson Arnold for a minute, because I don't know how to feel about it. Because Auburn did what they were supposed to do, and they did it convincingly. And I thought Jackson Arnold looked really good running, but I'm somewhat surprised they didn't try to use those receivers. Is that a sign of things to come? And do you expect for defenses to play Jackson Arnold a little differently moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know how much. Listen, you go back and look at Hugh. Hugh loved to run the ball, and same thing with Malzahn and some of these guys. So, I think it's a growing pain. I think also there was so much worry about Jackson Arnold and putting him in a situation to where what happens if he throws an early pick on the road, okay? Well, man, then this guy who's built on bad confidence over at Oklahoma, then all of a sudden he's, it's like a golfer that hit the first, tee shot out of bounds. Like he's struggling. So I think it was more about, hey, Let's build a comfort level for him. Let's pick and choose our spots. They've got a talented wide receiver room. I mean, Singleton from Georgia Tech's great. Cam Coleman is incredible. I'm not too worried about it. But, man, now they feel like there's blood in the water over at Auburn because they look at the other side of the state and Alabama, who's on its heels after getting pushed around by FSU. Like, this is Hugh's time to really showcase that, hey, this is the reason why I came here. Saban's no longer there, and we could be the team in the state of Alabama, which is not something that I thought we'd be talking about 2 years ago.
Talking to Peter Burns. Peter, let's finish out with Lenore Sellers. My goodness, man. Like, I wanted to doubt South Carolina, and I'm not going to overrate Virginia Tech. I'm not going to, right? But that defense looked really good. And I'm not saying Virginia Tech's offense is awesome, but that defense looked really good, and I was kind of expecting for that defense to take a step back. Are we going to see that here in the future, or do you think, no, they're going to be pretty good there?
I mean, again, I said the word sticky, and I needed South Carolina to be sticky. And what that means is that, hey, when you are a 9-3 team, show me that you're sticky and that you can remain a 9-3 team when you lose that much talent, or maybe a 10-2 team. Like, Lenore's is a beast, man, and he's still there's still some things they need to work on. But having seen Nick Harbor, who's just a freak athlete, kind of take off. He's great. I mean, they got to give Fred Johnson, who was an absolute beast as a linebacker. They have dudes, and I think the credit that I give to Shane Beamer and his staff, they don't go after the number one, and a lot of times they can't land them. The 5-star, big-time transfer, like Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss were doing. They just pick the right guys that they know fit their scheme. And that's the important part of the NIL is making sure you're using it for the right dudes. So I still think they take a step back slightly, but I don't see a 6-6, 7-5 team. I see a lot of 8-4 squads in the SEC. I mean, that's the reality of it, and it feels more like the NFL than it ever has been.
Peter, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Later, boys.
Later, man.